South Carolina is very close to becoming the first coastal state to remove all the abandoned and derelict boats crowding our waterways, creating a dangerous situation for anyone on the water. And that's all thanks to our next guest, Rudy Socha, CEO of Wounded Nature. Rudy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us here.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And now can you tell us a little bit more about these recent developments?
Well, we've been working on a concentrated effort for probably the past 7 or 8 years to address a long neglected problem, which is people just leaving their boats either in creeks or up on the shoreline. And I'm sure everyone's seen paintings or old movies. It kind of looks romantic, seeing that boat up there on its side and wondering what the story of the boat is. Well, a lot of those old wooden boats weren't so much of a problem. Today's boats contain fiberglass, and a 30-foot sailboat then represents about 9,000 pounds of fiberglass, lead, petroleum, and many other pollutants that are inside the boat. And as those boats break up, they contaminate the immediate area and the seafood in that area. And South Carolina is a big seafood state. It's also a big recreational fishing state. Mm-hmm. If the boat's in the water and it gets to be submerged many times, it's hidden at high tide and only visible at low tide, which poses a serious safety hazard to other boaters.
Mm-hmm. And now, when did you start Wounded Nature?
Wounded Nature started in 2010, and that's when we started doing coastal cleanups down here. We were at first focused on pulling large debris items out of the tidal marshes. Spent a couple of years working on getting orphan crab traps off the outer islands and coastlines. And then what happened was we kind of transitioned into the derelict boat issue. But we still work on doing marsh cleanups and tidal cleanups because that's where wildlife lives. And prior to this, everyone was focused on the public beaches, which is easy access. You get a lot of great media coverage, a lot of people show up, but that's where the humans hang out. That's where you pick up straws and bottles versus going into the tidal marshes, where it's mud, and then you've got heavy pieces of treated wood that contains arsenic and creosote and tires out in that area. So it's a much more difficult process. Plus you have to go by boat, and you take the volunteers out by boat, and then you got to bring volunteers and debris back from a logistics standpoint. Mm-hmm.
And so what is needed to finish the job in Charleston?
We need $5 million. It's just under $5 million. We finally have a state list of an inventory of everything that's remaining on the coastal areas, and that includes the large abandoned barges on the commercial side, couple old ships, shrimp boats, and then some of the recreational boats that we still haven't been able to get out. And once we get that $5 million, it'll take us about 12 months to go ahead and get them all out.
Mm-hmm. And now, just out of curiosity, is there any places or pockets in South Carolina that there are just more of these derelict or abandoned boats?
Yes, right now here in Charleston, probably the biggest concentration of problems is Shipyard Creek. Actually, Charleston as a whole represents the greatest percentage of that $5 million because we also have a large barge over in Wapu Cut, and we have some other industrial things. But on Shipyard Creek, we have a Navy ship that's 90 feet long, that's metal, that's sunk way back in 1947. It's been sitting there. We have a few industrial barges. We have a lot of debris. We have a sunken sailboat. We have a sunken houseboat back in there. We just have a number of things. And Shipyard Creek's probably a very critical area to our industrial on-the-water base, all the dredge companies, etc. That's their safe harbor port whenever a storm's approaching and they have to pull up all their equipment, pull their boats in there, and it's just been neglected forever.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely this is a very important local issue. And now, where can our viewers go to get involved or to find out how they can help?
They can go to woundednature.com and they can make a personal donation, or more importantly, we'd love to find someone that wants this to be their legacy, whether it be a company, a foundation, or a high net worth individual. It would make it a lot easier for us and for them, and they could become the face of finally cleaning up Charleston's coastal areas.
Yeah, which is very needed. Rudy, thank you so much for joining us, and we want to keep our eyes on this, and we absolutely will. Rudy, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're back after this.